The mystery of Nancy Ung. Nancy Ung, a Californian woman, mysteriously disappeared while kayaking on Lake Atitlan in Guatemala, leaving behind a case filled with unanswered questions and conflicting accounts. What was meant to be a peaceful retreat turned into a tragic mystery, as her family continues to seek the truth about what really happened to her. Nancy had traveled to Guatemala for a yoga retreat, hoping to take a break from her busy life. She was part of a group that embarked on a kayaking excursion on the lake, an activity meant to be a relaxing experience. However, something went terribly wrong. According to one witness, Nancy jumped into the water for a swim but never resurfaced. Authorities quickly concluded that she had drowned, citing her belongings found on the lake's shore as evidence. Yet, this explanation did not sit well with Nancy's family, who immediately questioned the circumstances surrounding her disappearance. One of the most pressing concerns is the conflicting accounts provided by those last seen with Nancy. The yoga retreat organizer, who also owned the resort where Nancy was staying, claimed that she had checked out early and left the retreat. This contradicted both the witness's statement and video footage that clearly placed Nancy on the lake the day she vanished. If she had truly left, then how could she have been seen kayaking? The inconsistencies in these accounts only fueled the family's suspicions that something more sinister may have occurred. Adding to their concerns is the fact that Nancy was not a strong swimmer. Her family finds it difficult to believe that she would willingly jump into deep water, especially without a life jacket. They also question the actions or inactions of the person who was with her at the time. If she had been struggling in the water, why wasn't there a more immediate attempt to help her? And why did others in the retreat group seem reluctant to cooperate with the investigation? These unanswered questions have made it impossible for the family to accept the official explanation of accidental drowning. Frustrated by the lack of transparency and cooperation, Nancy's family took matters into their own hands. They hired a private search and rescue team, deploying helicopters, drones, boats, and divers in an attempt to locate her. Despite their extensive efforts, there was no sign of Nancy. The complete lack of physical evidence, aside from her abandoned kayak, has led them to believe that she may not have drowned at all. They suspect that she could have been kidnapped or harmed by someone from the retreat. Their suspicions only grew when other members of the retreat quickly returned to the United States and refused to speak about what had happened. It is unusual for a group of people to be so uncooperative in an investigation, particularly when they were the last ones to see a missing person alive. The silence of these individuals has created an unsettling atmosphere of secrecy, making Nancy's family believe that they may be withholding crucial information. As the FBI and the State Department continue to look into the case, Nancy's family refuses to give up. They are determined to uncover the truth and bring justice to their loved one. Until concrete evidence is found, her disappearance remains a chilling mystery that has captivated the public's attention. The unanswered questions, conflicting testimonies, and unusual behavior of those involved have turned what was initially considered a tragic accident into a case that demands further scrutiny. The disappearance of Nancy Ung is more than just another missing persons case. It is a troubling reminder of how quickly an innocent vacation can turn into a nightmare, and how justice can be delayed when the truth is hidden in secrecy. Her family's relentless pursuit of answers keeps hope alive that one day they will uncover what truly happened on the waters of Lake Atitlan. The unsolved disappearance of Erin Gillern. The disappearance of Erin Gillern remains one of the most perplexing and unsettling mysteries in recent history. A successful and well-liked research assistant at the United Nations Industrial Development Organization in Vienna, Austria, Erin vanished without a trace on October 29, 2007. His case has been marred by inconsistencies, unanswered questions, and allegations of police negligence, leaving his family and supporters in a desperate search for the truth. Erin was a former seminarian and had gained recognition in Austria after winning the title of Mr. Gay Austria in 2006. Despite his achievements and seemingly stable life, his sudden disappearance raised many suspicions. Just a month before he went missing, he had returned to his hometown of Cortland, New York, to spend time with his mother, Catherine Gilleran. She was preparing to sell her house and move to Vienna to be closer to her son. The two had spoken on October 27, 2007, in what would become their final conversation. The Austrian police reported that Erin was last seen running naked from the Kaiserbrundel sauna in Weiburggasse after an alleged altercation. However, this contradicts other information that places his last known location at a different sauna on Stephansplatz after work. The lack of clarity on his whereabouts at the time of his disappearance has only fueled further speculation and doubt regarding the official account of events. Authorities quickly ruled that Erin had taken his own life by jumping into the Danube Canal. They attributed his actions to alleged mental instability and possible drug use, but his family and friends strongly rejected this theory. Those close to him insisted that Erin had no history of depression or substance abuse and had no reason to disappear voluntarily. Instead, they believe he may have been the victim of a hate crime, robbery, or even trafficking. The speed at which the police closed the case without further investigation led many to suspect negligence or a deliberate attempt to conceal the truth. Erin's mother, Catherine Gilleran, has been unwavering in her fight for justice. For years, she has tirelessly worked to keep her son's case in the public eye. She has hired private investigators, engaged with media outlets, and filed multiple complaints against Austrian authorities for their handling of the case. Every year, on the anniversary of Erin's disappearance, she holds vigils outside the sauna where he was last reported to have been seen. She refuses to accept the notion that her son's case is unsolvable. Her journey for answers was documented in the film Gone, The Disappearance of Erin Gillan, which premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival in 2011. The documentary highlights the inconsistencies in the police investigation and exposes the indifference shown by law enforcement toward Erin's case. It paints a troubling picture of the challenges faced by those seeking justice when authorities are unwilling to pursue a thorough investigation. Despite the years that have passed, Erin's case remains open and unresolved. His mother continues to hold on to hope, believing that someone, somewhere, knows what happened to her son. She remains determined to uncover the truth and bring closure to a mystery that has left so many questions unanswered. The disappearance of Erin Gillan is a haunting reminder of how cases can be dismissed without proper investigation and how the pursuit of justice often falls upon the loved ones left behind. The mass vanishing of Rio Verde. The mystery of Rio Verde remains one of the most perplexing tales in South American history. The story takes place in 1923, deep in the jungles of Brazil, where an entire village of 600 people is said to have vanished without a trace. The eerie silence of the town immediately unsettled visitors, who found homes and buildings left in an orderly yet abandoned state. Doors were ajar, windows were open, and personal belongings remained untouched, yet there was no sign of any residents. The complete absence of life baffled those who stumbled upon the scene. Authorities were alerted, and investigators arrived from nearby towns to conduct a thorough search. As they combed through the village, they made a chilling discovery in the local schoolhouse. Written on the blackboard were the ominous words, "There is no salvation." The meaning of this cryptic message has been debated ever since. Some believe it was a final warning or a desperate plea left behind by the townspeople before their disappearance. Others think it could have been part of an elaborate hoax or even a misinterpretation of historical events. Despite extensive searches, no trace of the missing villagers was ever found. No bodies, no signs of struggle, and no evidence of a mass evacuation. It was as if the entire population of Rio Verde had simply ceased to exist. To this day, there are no official records confirming the town's fate, making it one of Brazil's most mysterious legends. Many South Americans regard the tale as folklore, passed down through generations, but its persistence has kept it alive in mystery discussions worldwide. Various theories have attempted to explain the sudden disappearance. Some historians suggest that the villagers may have fled due to political unrest. In 1923, Brazil was facing civil strife under the presidency of Artur da Silva Bernardes, who was engaged in conflicts with rebel groups. Political instability had displaced many communities during this time, and it is possible that Rio Verde's residents abandoned their homes to escape potential violence. However, mass evacuations usually leave some form of evidence, documents, witness accounts, or settlements in other areas, but no such records exist for Rio Verde's inhabitants. Another theory proposes that the village was attacked and its people taken. Yet, this idea is challenged by the fact that no signs of violence, struggle, or looting were reported. If an attack had taken place, there should have been some indication: burned buildings, damaged structures, or remnants of conflict. But the village was left untouched, adding to the eerie mystery. Perhaps the most perplexing element of this tale is the phrase left on the school's blackboard. "There is no salvation" suggests a sense of doom or foreboding, leading some to speculate supernatural involvement. Stories of cursed lands and paranormal events have surrounded the case, with some believing that the town was claimed by an unknown force. Given Brazil's rich history of folklore, it is not surprising that such supernatural theories have gained traction. The origins of the Rua Verde legend are difficult to trace, as most references to it appear to originate from a Russian magazine that allegedly translated an older Western article. This has led some skeptics to argue that the entire story may be fabricated or a misinterpretation of real historical events. Despite this, the legend has persisted, with alleged photographs of the abandoned village surfacing online. However, these images cannot be verified, leaving researchers and enthusiasts with more questions than answers. Ultimately, the fate of Rua Verde remains a mystery. Whether it was a political evacuation, an attack, or something far more mysterious, the lack of concrete evidence continues to fuel speculation. While some believe it to be an exaggerated tale, the story's endurance over the decades suggests that, at the very least, there was some real event that inspired it. Until new evidence emerges, Rua Verde will remain one of history's most mysterious disappearances, forever lingering in the realm of the unknown. A Viking settlement in Greenland, home to thousands, mysteriously vanished in the 1400s. The mysterious disappearance of the Norse settlers in Greenland during the 15th century remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Once home to thousands, these Viking communities thrived for centuries in an unforgiving landscape, adapting to the harsh Arctic environment while building farms, churches, and settlements that have left behind enduring ruins. Despite their resilience, the Norse presence on Greenland inexplicably collapsed, with all inhabitants either perishing or fleeing. Though scholars have uncovered numerous contributing factors, the precise cause of their vanishing remains unknown. The Viking presence in Greenland dates back to when Eric the Red was exiled from Iceland. According to medieval sagas, he named the land Greenland to attract more colonists, despite the fact that the island was mostly covered in ice. Nevertheless, within the sheltered fjords, there existed patches of lush meadows where the Norse established two major settlements. The larger eastern settlement lay at the southern tip of Greenland, while the smaller western settlement was located approximately 240 miles away. Here, the Norse raised livestock, hunted seals, walruses, and caribou, and built homes and churches using sod and stone. For centuries, these communities endured, with the eastern settlement growing into a network of around 500 farms and 12 major churches. At its height, Greenland's Norse population may have reached 5,000, though modern estimates suggest the number was closer to 2,500. Despite their ability to survive in extreme conditions, the settlements began to decline by the late 1300s. The western settlement was the first to vanish, while the eastern settlement persisted a little longer. The last known written record of the Norse presence is a 1408 account of a wedding that took place in the eastern settlement. However, by around 1450, archaeological evidence suggests the land was entirely abandoned. Theories regarding the mysterious collapse of Greenland's Norse civilization abound. One possible explanation is climate change. During the period of Norse habitation, the world experienced the medieval warm period, which provided favorable conditions for farming in Greenland. However, this was followed by the onset of the Little Ice Age, a period of cooling that made agriculture increasingly difficult. As temperatures dropped, the growing season shortened, sea ice expanded, and storms became more frequent. This would have placed immense pressure on the Norse settlers, making survival progressively harder. Another factor may have been environmental degradation. The Norse relied heavily on fragile pasturelands to sustain their livestock, but overgrazing and soil erosion likely reduced agricultural productivity. With fewer resources available, starvation and malnutrition may have contributed to the settlement's decline. Furthermore, the Norse were dependent on trade with Europe, particularly for iron and other essential supplies. As Europe's economic interests shifted, trade routes became less reliable, leaving the settlers increasingly isolated. Conflicts with the native Inuit population may have also played a role. The Norse coexisted with the Thule people, ancestors of today's Inuit, who had a deep understanding of the Arctic environment and were better adapted to its extreme conditions. Evidence suggests that the Norse may have engaged in both trade and hostilities with the Thule, and some researchers believe that tensions between the two groups could have escalated, leading to violence that further weakened the Norse settlements. Disease and famine may have compounded these challenges. Starvation and harsh winters could have significantly reduced the population, while diseases brought by occasional European visitors might have further devastated the already struggling settlers. Additionally, as numbers dwindled, maintaining a functioning society would have become increasingly difficult. Ultimately, no single theory can fully explain the disappearance of Greenland's Norse settlers. It is likely that a combination of climate change, economic decline, environmental mismanagement, and potential conflicts all contributed to their gradual demise. Despite centuries of research, the precise fate of these people remains a mystery, leaving historians and archaeologists to continue searching for clues that may one day provide definitive answers. The ruins of the Norse settlements still stand in Greenland today, silent remnants of a lost civilization. The abrupt disappearance of the Viking settlers serves as a haunting reminder of the fragile balance between human societies and the environments in which they exist. Though their voices have long since faded, their legacy endures in the landscapes they once called home and the questions their disappearance continues to inspire. In the rugged landscape of northeastern South Africa, near the town of Mpuluzi, lies one of the most puzzling and intriguing geological anomalies ever discovered. A giant footprint measuring approximately 1.2 meters or 4 feet long, embedded in solid granite. This footprint has sparked significant debate and curiosity among scientists, historians, and enthusiasts alike. The giant footprint is located in a remote area of northeastern South Africa, a region known for its rich geological formations and ancient history. The footprint is impressively detailed, with clear impressions of toes and an arch, as if left by a colossal human-like being. The precision and clarity of the print, preserved in granite, a rock formed from the slow crystallization of magma beneath the Earth's surface, adds to the mystery. Granite is an igneous rock, known for its hardness and durability. The formation of a footprint in such a material is perplexing, as granite typically forms deep within the Earth's crust under high pressure and temperature conditions. The apparent age of the granite, estimated to be between 200 million and 3 billion years old, further complicates the understanding of how such a footprint could exist. One of the more conventional theories suggests that the footprint could have been made by an ancient human ancestor. However, the size of the footprint poses a significant challenge to this theory. At 1.2 meters long, the footprint suggests a being of enormous size, far beyond the proportions of known hominids. This discrepancy has led some to propose that it could be evidence of a yet-to-be-discovered species or a mythological giant. The mysterious geometric shapes surrounding the Richat structure. The Richat structure, also known as the Eye of the Sahara, is a remarkable and mysterious geological formation located in the Sahara Desert of Mauritania. Spanning approximately 45 kilometers or 28 miles in diameter, this circular structure has captivated scientists and enthusiasts alike. Recently, the advent of satellite technology and tools like Google Earth have allowed for a more detailed examination of this area, leading to the discovery of strange geometric shapes surrounding the Richat structure. The Richat structure was initially thought to be an impact crater due to its circular shape. However, subsequent studies have revealed that it is actually a highly eroded geologic dome. The structure is composed of concentric circles of sedimentary rock, uplifted by geological processes. The Eye of the Sahara has also been associated with various historical narratives. Some have speculated that it could be the location of the lost city of Atlantis, as described by Plato. While this theory remains controversial and widely debated, it adds an intriguing layer to the mystery of the Richat structure. The advent of Google Earth has revolutionized the way we explore our planet. This tool allows anyone with an internet connection to view high-resolution satellite images of virtually any location on Earth. Researchers and amateurs alike have used Google Earth to uncover previously unnoticed details in remote regions, including the area around the Richat structure. Users of Google Earth have identified several geometric shapes in the vicinity of the Richat structure. These shapes include perfect circles, straight lines, and rectangular formations that appear to be unnatural. The precision and alignment of these shapes suggest that they could be the remnants of human-made structures or other purposeful arrangements, rather than random geological formations. One of the most compelling theories is that these geometric shapes are remnants of ancient human settlements or constructions. The Sahara Desert was not always as arid as it is today. Thousands of years ago, it was a lush and fertile region, capable of supporting large populations. The geometric shapes could be the foundations of ancient buildings, roads, or other infrastructure built by civilizations long lost to history. Another theory posits that the geometric shapes may have been used for astronomical purposes. Ancient civilizations often built structures aligned with celestial bodies for calendrical or ritualistic reasons. The precise alignment of some of these shapes with cardinal directions and celestial events supports this hypothesis. They could have served as observatories, calendars, or places of worship aligned with the stars and planets. If the geometric shapes are indeed remnants of ancient human activity, they could significantly alter our understanding of prehistoric civilizations in the Sahara region. This discovery would suggest that advanced societies existed in the area, capable of building complex structures and possibly engaging in sophisticated astronomical practices. It would prompt a re-evaluation of the timeline and extent of human development in Africa. The study of the Richat structure and its surrounding anomalies also offers opportunities for advances in geological research. Understanding the formation and erosion processes that created the Eye of the Sahara and the geometric shapes could provide insights into similar geological formations around the world. It would help scientists better understand the dynamic processes that shape our planet's surface. The mysterious aerial school encounter. On the morning of September 16, 1994, the children and teachers at Aerial School in Zimbabwe started their day as usual. Nevertheless, an occurrence during the morning break would finally seize the interest of the whole population. A total of 62 students would report to their teachers that spaceships had landed near the school. In addition, a group of individuals of short stature exited from the spacecraft, clearly visible to the witnesses, who, interestingly, all provided identical descriptions of the event. On the 16th of September, the instructors at Aerial School in Rua, Zimbabwe, had a planned meeting while the students were having their morning playtime. Despite the presence of a single adult overseeing the children at the tuck shop, they were essentially left unsupervised. While they were enthusiastically shouting to one another in the schoolyard, a number of them observed a massive silver disc in the sky above. In addition, there were numerous smaller aircrafts maneuvering around the main object. Instantly, a momentary silence enveloped the schoolyard as every child directed their focus towards the shining objects in the sky. As the mysterious object flew directly above, it appeared to be preparing to touch down in close proximity to a tiny hill located on the other side of the fence surrounding the schoolyard. The children sprinted towards the barrier in order to obtain a more advantageous view. Despite being part of the school, the site was inaccessible to the children due to ongoing clearing operations. While observing, a diminutive being, approximately 3 feet in height, abruptly emerged from the spherical entity. The children later characterized the creature as being abnormally thin and with exceedingly huge eyes. He descended from the aircraft and proceeded to stroll towards the fence where they were observing. It's been suggested that they emitted a synchronized exhalation of surprise, as upon taking just a few steps, he became aware of the presence of the youngsters and halted his movement. Meanwhile, a different individual observed from atop the vehicle. After a brief period of intense eye contact, the first being turned around and returned to the spacecraft. Shortly thereafter, the spacecraft disappeared, along with the smaller crafts in the sky. Several children would enter the school premises in a state of distress, shedding tears and saying that something terrifying was happening outside. The region was filled with tales of demons and malevolent beings, and a few of the smaller children firmly believed that this was indeed what they had witnessed. The older children, despite their continued unease, were undergoing a phenomenon that was subsequently characterized as telepathic communication with the being that stood in the field before them. A significant number of individuals already possessed prior knowledge of what they had witnessed. Amidst the chaos, the school's teachers were hauled out of their meeting. One of them would later express that they simply heard them emitting loud and continuous screams. Another individual expressed initial skepticism and acknowledged that although they believed the youngsters had seen something, they were inclined to seek a more logical and sensible explanation. The school's headmaster acknowledged the children's encounter, but originally deemed it prudent to leave the problem unresolved. Subsequent to the weekend, the school started receiving a series of phone calls from anxious parents. Each individual would pose the identical inquiry, asking what had occurred to cause such intense fear in their children. Cynthia Hind, in conjunction with Dr. John Mack, would engage in individual conversations with the youngsters. Each would possess identical information, and Mack firmly believed in the children's genuineness and the legitimacy of the situation. He would assert that the witnesses recounted these events with the authenticity and vividness of personal experience. Several children who reported receiving telepathic connection from the ominous figure before them would have intriguing revelations. One witness would explain the event as suddenly feeling as if a vivid mental image was rapidly passing through their mind, a psychic message, a form of communication transmitted through the mind. Another individual informed Hind and Mack that the mysterious beings had come to inform them that they are not adequately caring for the planet. Another witness had a perspective that was even more ominous. They asserted that they had vivid mental images depicting the apocalypse, characterized by the complete destruction of all trees and the inability of individuals to breathe. These specific pieces of information are consistently found in a large number of UFO sightings and have persisted for several decades. It is crucial to bear in mind that most, if not all, of these children would have had minimal to no exposure to UFO experiences in significant depth. It's important to note that television was still a limited platform, far from the extensive reach it has achieved today. Essentially, it is improbable that every single one of the 62 children, ranging in age from 6 to 12 years old, would have collaborated and sustained such a deceit. Others expressed similar empathy towards the circumstances recounted by the children. Undoubtedly, other individuals who have scrutinized the case subsequently arrived at the same conclusions, that the youngsters, regardless of what they witnessed, were unequivocally speaking the truth. Tim Leach, the BBC bureau chief for Zimbabwe, would personally meet and interview the majority of the children who had observed the peculiar incidents that occurred that morning, and he would do so immediately following the sighting. He would assert that the occurrence and the testimonies of the youngsters who observed it provided him with a fresh outlook on life, the cosmos, and everything. It appeared that there were explanations provided for why the pyrotechnic performance was actually a meteor shower. Nevertheless, numerous witnesses reported sightings of these fireball-like vehicles around the region on that particular day. Additionally intriguing is an occurrence that transpired a mere 2 days prior, a mere 25 miles in proximity, at the Pier House School. That morning, approximately 100 schoolchildren observed an unusual flying vehicle descending at an unusually low altitude, seeming as if it were preparing to touch down. In addition, the radio system utilized by the school bus service experienced a complete outage during the sighting. Furthermore, at least one of the youngsters who observed the incident at Ariel School had previously spotted an unusual phenomenon in the sky and playfully referred to it as a UFO before concluding that it was likely an aeroplane. Nevertheless, she internally acknowledged the peculiarity of the thing, likening it to a cigarette. It was only after the events at the school unfolded that she started to really consider the possibility that the object she had witnessed that morning was the same one that had recently landed near the school. Additionally, it is worth noting that the accounts of the creature that had moved away from the spacecraft include specific characteristics of a dark and shadowy figure. In the realm of the unexplained, two phenomena have captured the public's imagination and sparked intense debate: unidentified flying objects and shadow people. While both have been reported independently, a growing number of accounts suggest a curious connection between them. Witnesses who encounter UFOs often report seeing shadowy humanoid figures, commonly referred to as shadow people, during or immediately following these sightings. Witnesses of shadow people during UFO encounters consistently describe the figures as dark, human-like silhouettes without any distinguishing features. These shadow beings are typically seen in peripheral vision and often vanish when directly observed. They are reported to move quickly and silently, sometimes appearing to glide rather than walk. Encounters with shadow people are often accompanied by intense emotional and physical reactions. Witnesses report feelings of dread, fear, and unease, as well as physical sensations such as chills, a feeling of heaviness, and an unexplained drop in temperature. These reactions suggest that the presence of shadow people exerts a significant psychological and physiological impact on witnesses. Emily Trim, a witness, would later describe the sound as a high-pitched frequency followed by a flash before the craft became visible. She would also clarify that she was uncertain about the duration of the episode. The descriptions of the colors that rapidly arose, including blues, reds, and greens, are commonly reported in numerous other UFO sightings, along with the observation that they seem to encircle the perimeter of the spacecraft at a high velocity. Particularly intriguing are the assertions made by one of the witnesses, who reported that a group of individuals gathered to inspect the area where the unidentified flying object touched down. Despite the prohibition, she reported that people who entered the site discovered charred grass where the enigmatic object had been. Both the teachers and many of the children's parents first had difficulty fully trusting the reports the children shared that morning. During a documentary, some 18 months after the occurrence, when questioned about their feelings towards others who doubted their account, the children expressed sadness and frustration, with one youngster even suggesting that such skepticism would cast doubt on the truthfulness of their claims. Truly, had this event been observed by only one youngster, or even 2 or 3, such rejections might have resulted in the incidents being disregarded before it could spread to the neighboring town, let alone the rest of the world. The presence of numerous witnesses to the incident provided a source of mutual support and validation regarding their observations. In addition to the previous statement of a sighting at a school 25 miles away, Cynthia Hind also gathered other reports of UFO activity and sightings of peculiar creatures in the aerial area prior to the incident. During the period preceding the aerial school event, a mother and her small son asserted that they observed an unidentified flying object during daytime hours. Arguably, the most disconcerting of these observations, however, originated from a truck driver who asserted to have witnessed peculiar entities by the side of the road one evening during his journey. The enduring impression of the aerial school UFO incident is that, although the true nature of the peculiar craft and its much more peculiar occupants remains uncertain, it is quite likely that the students did indeed witness an unidentified phenomenon on that September morning in 1994. Every kid, who will now be in their 30s, asserts that what they witnessed that morning was undeniably genuine. Several individuals who observed the peculiar, darkly dressed individuals from a close distance assert that they will never forget the intense gaze directed towards them. Undoubtedly, one can only speculate on the frequency with which these witnesses have been roused from their slumber by recollections of the peculiar creature they encountered, not only during their formative years, but also in their adult lives. In addition, not only individuals involved in UFO research, but also experts in child behavior argue that it would be highly implausible for numerous youngsters of such a tender age to unanimously agree on and consistently maintain the same narrative, especially for an extended period of time. There is little question that the children were totally honest in recounting the events of that morning, and they continue to be that way even now as adults. Regardless of whether the meeting was intentional or not, it is important to reiterate that the witnesses received identical telepathic signals that morning, which have also been reported in several incidents of close contact. Themes that center on the improper utilization of technology and the harm being inflicted onto the world, and ones that require attention. The most compelling explanation for the aerial school encounter is the extraterrestrial hypothesis. The detailed descriptions of the craft and beings, along with the telepathic communication reported by the children, align with other accounts of UFO encounters. The messages about environmentalism and the dangers of technology also mirror themes reported in other close encounter cases. The involvement of credible researchers like Cynthia Hind and Dr. John Mack further supports the possibility that the aerial school encounter was a genuine mysterious event. The aerial school encounter underscores the importance of open-minded inquiry in the study of UFO phenomena. The willingness of researchers like Cynthia Hind and Dr. John Mack to listen to and validate the children's experiences helped bring the incident to light and ensured that it was taken seriously. This open-minded approach is crucial for advancing our understanding of unexplained phenomena and encouraging a rigorous investigation of such events. The messages reportedly conveyed to the children during the encounter are profoundly relevant to contemporary challenges. Whether or not the encounter was of advanced origin, these messages resonate with humanity's ongoing efforts to address environmental degradation and the ethical implications of technological advancement. As of right now, the aerial school UFO encounter remains one of the most compelling and mysterious incidents in the history of UFO sightings. The consistency and sincerity of the children's accounts, coupled with the involvement of credible researchers, suggest that this was a genuine encounter with an unexplained phenomenon. The incident challenges our understanding of reality and underscores the importance of keeping an open mind in the face of the unknown. The mysterious legend of the Melonheads. In the state of Ohio, particularly in Lake and Goga counties, residents and eyewitnesses have reported strange encounters with bizarre creatures known as the Melonheads. These short bipedal beings are said to have disproportionately large, bulbous heads, a feature that has fueled local legends about their mysterious origins. Due to the limited number of sightings, not much is known about the creatures, but their association with a dark and disturbing tale has made them one of Ohio's most chilling legends. The most well-known story surrounding the Melonheads ties back to an alleged doctor named Dr. Crow, whose twisted experiments may have played a role in the creature's origins. According to local law, during the 1930s and 1940s, Dr. Crow operated either a mental asylum or an orphanage in Kirtland, Ohio. While variations of the story exist, one consistent element is that he experimented on young individuals afflicted with hydrocephalus, a condition that causes an abnormal buildup of fluid in the brain, leading to an enlarged skull. Some versions of the legend claim that Dr. Crow's experiments were an attempt to cure hydrocephalus, though his methods were cruel and inhumane. Others suggest he intentionally inflicted the condition on people to study its effects. The experiments reportedly included drilling holes into skulls, performing crude lobotomies, and exposing patients to electroshock therapy. The legend further claims that Dr. Crow's victims eventually turned against him. In a dramatic act of revenge, the surviving individuals organized an attack, ending the doctor's life before escaping into the nearby woods. With nowhere else to go, they learned to live off the land, relying on the kindness of local residents who left food for them. Over time, these individuals became the legendary Melonheads, their physical deformities giving rise to the eerie sightings reported throughout the region. Another variation of the legend suggests that Dr. Crow was not associated with an orphanage, but was instead a private researcher who lived near Wisner Road in Kirtland. This version claims that he had struck a secret deal with a local mental institution to obtain people for medical experiments. Over time, he expanded his twisted research by taking people from the surrounding area. His experiments reportedly involved injecting chemicals and radioactive substances into the brains of his victims, causing severe mutations and neurological damage. As the story goes, after months of horrific treatment, his patients turned on him, setting fire to his home and escaping into the woods, where they became the elusive Melonheads. Although no official records confirm Dr. Crow's existence or the alleged experiments, some historical evidence hints at a grain of truth behind the tale. A newspaper article from the West Geauga Sun once mentioned a Dr. Crow living in Kirtland during World War II, conducting research on human subjects. Additionally, similar legends of unethical experiments on hydrocephalus patients exist in other states such as Connecticut, Michigan, and West Virginia, leading some to believe that the Melonhead legend may be tied to a larger, more sinister scheme involving government-sanctioned medical experiments in the mid-20th century. Whether the Melonheads are the lingering spirits of these tragic victims, mutated survivors, or simply an eerie folktale passed down through generations, their presence in Ohio's folklore remains strong. The legend continues to spark curiosity and fear, keeping the mystery of the melonheads alive. A mysterious sighting over Highway 175. While driving on Highway 175 near Kaufman, Texas, an eyewitness experienced an extraordinary event that left him both stunned and puzzled. In the sky above, he noticed a shiny object that initially appeared to be an airplane. However, as he observed it more closely, he realized something unusual. The object made no sound and remained completely still. This defied the normal behavior of any aircraft, raising questions about what he was truly witnessing. Acting quickly, the eyewitness grabbed his camera and snapped 2 consecutive images of the mysterious object. Just as suddenly as it had appeared, the object vanished without a trace. It left no trail, no sound, and no explanation. Only after reviewing the photographs did he realize how bizarre the sighting truly was. What he captured was not just a distant, unidentified flying object, but something even more shocking, an image that appeared to show a transparent vehicle in the sky. The structure seemed otherworldly, unlike anything he had seen before. The photographs, taken on July 19, 2016, were later submitted to the Mutual UFO Network under case number 84792. The Mutual UFO Network, an organization dedicated to investigating and documenting UFO sightings, reviewed the images as part of their ongoing research into unexplained aerial phenomena. While skeptics may offer alternative explanations such as reflections, camera anomalies, or natural occurrences, the images continue to intrigue those who believe in the possibility of extraterrestrial or advanced, undisclosed technology. This sighting over Highway 175 remains an unsolved mystery, adding to the growing list of UFO encounters reported worldwide. Whether it was an optical illusion, a secret military craft, or something from beyond our understanding, the event serves as yet another reminder that the skies still hold secrets waiting to be uncovered. A reporter's haunting surprise at Myrtle's plantation. Vanessa Bolano, a reporter for ABC affiliate WGNO, was filming a segment at the historic Myrtle's plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana, when she unexpectedly became part of the story. Known as one of the most haunted sites in America, Myrtle's plantation is said to be home to at least 12 restless spirits. Bolano was on assignment, reporting on the eerie legends surrounding the plantation, but what she discovered later would send chills down her spine. While reviewing the footage in the editing room, Bolano noticed something unusual. As she spoke about the ghosts that allegedly reside at the plantation, an inexplicable figure appeared behind her. Neither she nor her cameraman had noticed anything unusual during the shoot, yet the footage seemed to suggest otherwise. The ghostly presence made its debut on camera just as she stood in the French bedroom, a room believed to be the most haunted in the house. The Myrtle's plantation has long been a hotspot for paranormal activity, with many visitors reporting ghost sightings, mysterious noises, and unexplained phenomena. The house's dark history, which includes tales of murder and tragedy, has only added to its reputation as one of the most haunted locations in the country. Bolano's experience further fuels the legend, offering what some might consider video evidence of the supernatural. Whether one believes in ghosts or not, Bolano's encounter is a chilling reminder of the mysteries that still surround places like Myrtle's plantation. Her report was meant to document the legends, but she may have captured proof of them instead. The incident serves as yet another eerie chapter in the long, ghostly history of one of Louisiana's most infamous haunted houses. Mysterious opening seen in Antarctica. A mysterious cave opening discovered on Google Earth has captured the attention of researchers and online investigators. The massive entrance, measuring over 150 feet wide according to measurement tools, has sparked speculation about its true purpose and origins. While some believe it to be a naturally formed geological feature, others are convinced that it serves as an entrance to an underground base hidden beneath the surface. The location of this anomaly, situated in the remote and icy expanse of Antarctica, has only fueled further intrigue, with theories ranging from military operations to extraterrestrial activity. Many who have analyzed the images argue that the size and symmetry of the opening suggest it is not a natural formation. Some have pointed out that the area surrounding the entrance appears to have been artificially modified, with patterns that resemble tracks or pathways leading to and from the structure. These observations have led to the widely held belief that the cave could be a top-secret hangar used by the military. Given Antarctica's history of serving as a base for research stations and covert military projects, it is not far-fetched to assume that the opening may be linked to classified operations hidden from public knowledge. Others who have examined the satellite images propose that the cave entrance might be connected to UFOs. Throughout history, Antarctica has been the center of many UFO-related theories, with claims of unidentified objects seen entering and exiting icy crevasses. Some researchers believe that the frozen continent could be home to hidden extraterrestrial bases, concealed beneath miles of ice and snow. The cave's location, in such an isolated and difficult-to-access region, has led some to question whether it was deliberately chosen to keep whatever lies inside hidden from the rest of the world. Despite these compelling theories, skeptics argue that the cave is nothing more than a naturally occurring ice formation. They suggest that seasonal changes and shifting glaciers could create openings that resemble structured entrances. However, this explanation has done little to convince those who remain suspicious of the site's potential secrecy. For now, the mysterious cave opening remains unexplored and unexplained. Whether it is a top-secret military facility, an alien hideout, or simply an unusual geological feature, it continues to captivate those searching for hidden truths in the most remote corners of the world. Italian scientist Ettore Majorana, born in 1906, remains a mysterious figure in the scientific community due to his mysterious disappearance in 1938 at the age of 32. He was last seen on a ship traveling from Palermo to Naples, with his subsequent whereabouts cloaked in uncertainty. Decades later, a photograph emerged from Argentina depicting Majorana, seemingly untouched by time and still appearing as he did in 1938. This puzzling episode has fueled numerous theories and speculations regarding Majorana's fate, adding to the intrigue that surrounds his life and work. In the midst of circulating rumors regarding his demise, no concrete evidence surfaced until the year 2011. In March of that year, the Rome Attorney's Office initiated an investigation following a peculiar statement from a witness regarding an encounter with Majorana in Buenos Aires in the post-World War II era. During this alleged meeting, Majorana purportedly divulged significant scientific breakthroughs. The witness further asserted that upon attempting to meet Majorana for a second time, the physicist had mysteriously vanished, preventing any elaboration on the nature of these scientific revelations. This event sparked an official inquiry into the mysterious disappearance and the unverified claims surrounding Majorana's supposed scientific disclosures. The situation remains shrouded in mystery, with little certainty or concrete information to conclusively resolve the uncertainties surrounding Majorana's fate and the alleged scientific insights he purportedly shared. The news broke on June 7, 2011, as Italian media outlets revealed that the Carabinieri's RIS had meticulously scrutinized a photograph of a man captured in Argentina back in 1955. They uncovered a staggering 10 striking resemblances between the features of this man and Ettore Majorana. Remarkably, Majorana had disappeared nearly 20 years prior to the date of the photograph. What puzzled many was the apparent lack of aging in Majorana's appearance. He seemed to retain an almost identical youthful countenance in images taken both in 1938 and 1955. Notably, the Carabinieri refrained from offering any commentary on this curious phenomenon of Majorana's seemingly ageless visage, leaving many questions unanswered. This intriguing revelation not only sparked widespread speculation, but also added another layer of mystery to the strange disappearance of Ettore Majorana, the brilliant Italian physicist. Ettore Majorana, a distinguished scientist known for his expertise in multiple disciplines such as engineering, mathematics, and theoretical physics, particularly focusing on neutrino masses. He is credited with the formulation of the Majorana equation and the discovery of Majorana fermions, both of which bear his name. Majorana's contributions to the field of physics. In 1937, Majorana theorized the existence of a unique particle that possesses the properties of both matter and antimatter, which he believed could stably exist in nature. Typically, in our daily encounters, we encounter matter, an abundant substance in our known universe, and its counterpart, antimatter, which is considerably rare. When matter and antimatter come into contact, they undergo a process of annihilation, resulting in their mutual destruction and conversion into pure energy. In a peculiar turn of events, was there an instance where he engaged in an unconventional experiment that seemingly caused him to vanish in a burst of energy, only to surprisingly materialize again, instantaneously, 2 decades later? Rumors have circulated persistently regarding his vanishing, ever since the precise moment he did not disembark from the vessel he was observed boarding in March of 1938. This mysterious disappearance has generated speculation and conjecture over the years, capturing the curiosity of both the public and investigators alike. In the intricate puzzle surrounding the mysterious disappearance of Majorana, a crucial detail emerges: the step he supposedly took onto a boat before vanishing into the unknown. Nevertheless, even this seemingly concrete fact is enveloped in controversy and uncertainty. Some conjecture that Majorana cunningly orchestrated the placement of a decoy onto the boat as a diversion tactic. Conversely, another school of thought posits that the boat excursion itself may have been a contrivance concocted by those he left behind. Italian physicist Enrico Fermi, a Nobel Prize laureate, gained notoriety for his remarks on the mysterious disappearance of Ettore Majorana by saying the following: "Ettore was too intelligent. If he has decided to disappear, no one will be able to find him, not in this time or another." This cryptic statement has led to speculations about Majorana possibly being a time traveler.
Iwona Wieczorek. It was the 17th of July 2010 in Spot, Poland. In the early morning light, 19-year-old Iwona Wieczorek makes a final call to her friend Adria. Earlier that night, the girls were out celebrating their completion of high school, attending a party not far from their home. Adria convinced Iwona to leave and to continue their partying at a nearby nightclub, Dream Club. Not long after midnight, they arrived at the club, along with 3 of Adria's male friends, Paul, Adrian and Mark. After an argument with the men, Iwona stormed out, determined to walk the almost 4 miles home. Texts from her phone indicate she was angry her friend did not follow her out of the club after the argument. There were several calls made to Adria. The last one occurred at around 4 a.m, in which Adria had apologized for the incident at the club. Iwona confessed she wasn't in a state to be seen at home, still drunk from all the partying. Adria informed Iwona she would leave her keys outside of her apartment if she wanted to come to stay with her. CCTV easily tracked Iwona's path, having been seen on several different cameras. Barefoot and alone, she headed towards the neighborhood that she and Adria lived in. Needless to say, Iwona never arrived. Later that day, after awakening and finding her keys where she had left them, Adria contacted Iwona's family to check that she had made it home. Although she was reported missing, authorities claimed Iwona was capable enough to make it home and could have stayed at another friend's house. It was a week before the disappearance of Iwona was taken seriously. During the last few seconds of the video captured of Iwona, a man was seen walking behind her. He was possibly the last known person to see her alive. Even though his picture and sketches were widely circulated, no one ever stepped forward claiming to be the man. And he was never identified. In 2014, Adria and one of the men from the club were interviewed regarding the disappearance. Although both of them corroborated the time Iwona left the club, neither of them could maintain eye contact with the camera. And though they seemed to remember the time of her leaving, not one of them could remember what the argument was about. This strange behavior has led some to believe that perhaps Adria and the men know more about her disappearance than they were telling. In Poland, Iwona's disappearance has not faded away. Some 12,000 pages on a forum remain active searching for Iwona, sharing pictures of her and asking for someone to step forward. Some fear she has been sold into human trafficking. Even with hundreds of people from the area interviewed, no sign of Iwona has ever turned up. The disappearance of Erin Marie Gilbert. Unfortunately, not all who get lost are found. This was the case with Erin Marie Gilbert, a 24-year-old girl who disappeared after leaving a first date on July 1st, 1995. Erin, who would now be about 49 years old, was 5'5", 145 pounds, with brown hair and hazel eyes. It was her sister Stephanie who first reported that Erin had gone missing after a night out on what was supposed to be a date at the Girdwood Forest Fair. Erin had moved from San Francisco, where she lived with her father, to Alaska, where she stayed with her sister Stephanie and her husband and 2 children. By the time that she went missing, she had been living with them for about a year. The night of Erin Marie Gilbert's disappearance, she was picked up by a young man by the name of David Combs, a man whom she'd met at a bar just a few nights before. When he came to pick her up, he was wearing sunglasses, a detail that Stephanie later recalled when speaking to officers and reporters. Before the 2 of them left, Stephanie's older son, who was 4 years old, suggested that his aunt Erin take a cell phone with her. However, Erin decided not to and left with David Combs. Erin and her date drove an hour to the Girdwood Forest Fair. Witnesses recalled seeing them at a beer garden until around 6 p.m. when they left together. David Combs, who was later interrogated about Erin's disappearance, told the rest of the story, that when the 2 walked to his car, it turned out that it was not starting. He left Erin with the car, telling her he would walk to a friend's house to find help. After 2 hours of walking, however, he did not find the house and returned to his car alone, with Erin gone. David Combs told authorities that he thought she had just gone back to the fair. When he tried the car this time, it worked, and he then decided to go back and search for Erin until around 1 a.m. However, he did not call Stephanie about it until 7 a.m., which was odd. Although Stephanie said that she would not have heard if Erin had come home at all due to the nature of the house, she checked her bedroom and found there was no evidence of her having returned. Police and investigators continued to search for her, as did the family. They went back to the fair to search for her, but nothing was found. Now, over 2 decades later, there is still no new information regarding Erin Marie Gilbert's disappearance. Although the family is no longer convinced that she may still be alive, they are still searching for answers. Robert Horahan's disappearance. He has been missing for a decade, leaving his heartbroken wife and family with no answers and nothing to do but wonder at what might have happened to their beloved husband and father. Horahan went missing on April 8, 2011, after leaving for work in the family's Chevrolet Cavalier. However, when he never returned from work that evening, his wife Tara immediately knew that something must have gone horribly wrong. Robert was fiercely devoted to their daughter and would never have left her, not to mention the fact that he took the life-saving heart medications and would have had to have taken them with him if he had intentionally left his family. Once the missing persons report was filed and police launched an investigation, officials discovered that Robert had last used his phone at 7:41 that morning in Palmyra, Virginia, and had also been seen at the grocery store in Palmyra at around 8 a.m. While not necessarily strange that he visited a grocery store before heading to work, what struck Tara as odd was the fact that Palmyra was the opposite direction from his work. Additionally, investigators discovered that Robert did not even have work the day that he left, and was supposed to meet with a friend instead, but he never showed up to the meeting. The case then went cold until his car was discovered in a parking lot in La Plata, Maryland, over 100 miles from Palmyra. The car contained some of his work tools and a work shirt, but his phone, as well as anything that could indicate where he might have gone, was missing. Video footage of the parking lot revealed nothing helpful, and it took so long for the car to be discovered that the footage of the car being parked had already been taped over, so officials do not even know exactly how long the car had been sitting in the lot. Since that day, no more leads have been discovered in the case. Police suspect foul play and hope that, since so much time has passed, there might be someone who knows something about the case who would come forward. Tara has had to spend the intervening years as a single mother raising a daughter who hardly even remembers her father, and the family has not even been able to receive closure in the case. The case is still open and ongoing, as officials hope to one day be able to offer a little bit of peace of mind to the family in the form of some answers as to what happened to Robert after he disappeared all those years ago. the 13-year-old's car discovery. Griffin Lake in British Columbia, Canada, is a deep blue expanse sitting below stunning mountains amid beautiful Canadian countryside. Snowy peaks stand majestically at the end of the lake, with the scenic retreat making a perfect countryside getaway location. But in 2019, Griffin Lake became the subject of a mysterious discovery, one that had evaded Canadian police for nearly 30 years. Max Warenka was a normal 13-year-old boy from Alberta, Canada. He enjoyed the outdoors and had spent time in the past filming his adventures with his GoPro camera. In August 2019, Warenka had been out paddleboarding on Griffin Lake when he spotted something strange lurking below the surface. A group of people who had been staying in cabins on the lake shore also came to have a look, and they deduced that they were seeing the shiny underside of a car. Bemused as to what a car could be doing at the bottom of the lake, Warenka and his family reported the discovery to the police. After doing some Googling, the group realized that a group of 4 people had been rescued from a sunken vehicle in Griffin Lake in 2007, assuming that the car was simply left over from that. A pretty cool discovery nonetheless, but the Royal Canadian Mounted Police came to the lake to check it out anyway. When the police arrived, the presumed car did not appear so clearly, so the police asked Max to dive into the lake with his GoPro to see what he could find. Lo and behold, the car was still there, in full, and there was a human body in the driver's seat. It quickly became apparent that the car wasn't the one in the 2007 rescue, but one that had been at the bottom of the lake for potentially some time. The police divers team arrived a few days later and confirmed the body in the car. Analysis revealed that the body was that of Janet Farris, who had disappeared on her way to a wedding in the Griffin Lake area. Police were quick to rule out foul play and rather concluded that it was likely Janet swerved, trying to avoid an animal or something else, and lost control, spinning into the lake. Though the truth will never be fully known, for Janet's family, however, a welcome comfort to finally knowing where their relative was all this time. The disappearance of Keith Reinhard. The tiny village of Silver Plume in Colorado has a population of just over 200. It was the location solitude that enticed Keith Reinhard in 1988 to take a 3-month sabbatical from his job as a sports writer, leave his wife and family, and get some much-needed respite and work on his novel. Reinhard also saw the tiny village, which boasted mountainous areas, as an opportunity to overcome his lifelong fear of heights and get in better shape. When he arrived in Silver Plume, he leased a small shop to sell antiques and photographs to maintain him financially. It was then that Reinhard learned about the previous owner of the shop, a man called Tom Young, who on July 31st of the previous year went for a walk with his dog and never returned. A month into Reinhard's stay at Silver Plume, the bodies of Young and his dog were found propped against a tree in the wilderness. Both had been shot dead. Since Young had purchased a gun several days before he disappeared, the police ruled that Young had shot his dog and then committed suicide. However, local villagers who had known Young disputed the conclusion that Young would ever hurt his beloved dog. Rumors started to float around that something more sinister had occurred to Young. Reinhard was taken by the case and the similarities between himself and Young. Not only had they both at one point owned the same store, but if Young had killed himself, then both were going through troubled times. He decided to base the main character in his novel on an amalgamation of Young and himself called Guy Gypsum. Reinhard's daughter, Tiffany, said that her father struggled to separate fact from fiction, and this possibly explains what happened next. 1 week after Young's body was found, Reinhard set off to climb to the top of the nearby Pendleton Mountain. Climbing the mountain was a 6-hour hike, and Reinhard had set off in the late afternoon, meaning he would be walking through the tough rocky terrain at night, which was known to be inhabited by wild animals. This was particularly alarming given Reinhard's lack of experience climbing mountains and his prior fear of heights. Reinhard did not return that night, and the next day over 100 men equipped with trained dogs and helicopters began to search the site for him. The search became one of the biggest in Colorado history, and was only called off when a plane involved in the search crashed, killing one and injuring another. Reinhard was never found. Following his disappearance, people began to question what had happened to Reinhard. There were two main theories. The first theory was that Reinhard had been attempting to mimic what had happened to Jung. In the last page of his novel manuscript, he had written about how the main character was setting off to walk towards the lush, shadowless Colorado forest above. Reinhard might have been trying to live the events of the character before writing it down. Some even believe that Reinhard is still alive, but after learning about the crashed plane that had been searching for him, decided to flee. In fact, there have been multiple reports of sightings of Reinhard in countries like Mexico since his disappearance. The second theory is that Reinhard was a victim of foul play. Reinhard's own son Kai supports this theory. He believes that Jung was harmed by somebody and Reinhard suffered the same fate. He suspects that the shop that both men had owned might have put them at risk. Others argue that if Jung had been killed, the person who killed him would view Reinhard and his interest in Jung as a threat, so would want to cause him harm. Teresa Gibson disappears from the Great Smoky Mountains. On October 8, 1976, Teresa Lynn Gibson, also known as Trenny, went on a field trip to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. She traveled with 35 to 40 of her classmates from Bearden High School in Knoxville, Tennessee. Despite being surrounded with a group and other hikers, 16-year-old Trenny mysteriously disappeared from the park. The field trip was odd to begin with. There were almost 40 students, yet only one teacher to supervise them, plus the bus driver. According to some students, they were not even informed of their field trip destination until they arrived at the park. Only then did they find out that they would be hiking about 1.8 miles from Klingman's Dome to Andrews Bald, and then returning to the Forney Ridge Trail. When students began their hike, they split up into smaller groups based on their walking speed. Throughout the day, Trenny walked at different paces with various groups of classmates. However, at some point in the afternoon, she mysteriously vanished. She was last seen by classmates near Klingman's Dome at 3 p.m. They were hiking along a fairly steep trail with thick vegetation and sudden drop-offs. Apparently, she glimpsed something on the right side of the trail and left the path. That was the last time anyone saw her. Rescue teams began searching for her in the late afternoon. The weather and fall foliage made it difficult for search and rescue to use helicopters and inspect the trail. Instead, they used tracking dogs to pick up her scent. There were around 6 teams of bloodhounds and German shepherds that searched and picked up her scent near the juncture of the Klingman's Dome Trail and the Appalachian Trail. They followed her scent past Klingman's Dome Tower up until 1.5 miles from Newfound Gap. The scent then disappeared along the roadside. Multiple theories have arisen and suspects investigated. Some believe Trenny was in Klingman's Dome observation tower while the initial search was being conducted because it was never inspected. Once the searchers left, she traveled to the roadside where she got into a car, either voluntarily or against her will. There are some reports of cigarettes and beer cans found along the roadside. Trenny's classmate, Robert Simpson, was implicated as a suspect since her hairbrush was discovered in his car, but police quickly dismissed the idea. Trenny's parents, Robert and Hope Gibson, informed the police of a previous break-in by a young man whom Mrs. Gibson shot at. After being shot, he threatened to hurt their daughter. Although the authorities investigated this man, there were no leads for them to follow. Searches were conducted extensively through October and then again from April 18th to May 5th, 1977, but to no avail. Searches resumed in 1981 as well, but they never found anything. Kim Pouncey, a friend of Trenny's, gave an interview in November 2017 for an episode of Compilation Unsolved where she expressed her doubt of an abduction. She believes Trenny left of her own accord and had someone waiting for her in the park, that she had planned it because she wanted to leave and get away. After so many searches, the rangers of the national park were convinced that she was not in the park. Her body was never found. There are no current suspects, leads, or evidence. It's strange that a young girl could vanish while on a popular trail in the middle of the day surrounded by people. Whether she orchestrated her own disappearance or was kidnapped will remain a mystery. the disappearance of Jared Negrete. Jared Negrete was a 13-year-old Boy Scout who has not been seen since July 19, 1991, when he was separated from his troop of climbers in the San Bernardino National Forest. Tragically, the expedition was Negrete's first overnight backpacking trip with the Boy Scouts. As an inexperienced climber and described as being slightly overweight, climbing to the summit of the 11,500-foot mountain was a tough task. Negrete grew tired at about 1,000 feet from the top and was told to remain behind while the others completed the hike. However, when the troop returned, Negrete was nowhere to be seen. The troop leader immediately led the 5 other scouts back to the base camp and then hiked about 5 miles in the dark to get help. A massive search was launched, consisting of San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies and rescue teams from as far away as Sierra Madre and San Dimas. They searched the 130 square mile area of San Gorgonio wilderness and on the 3rd day focused their search on a 6 square mile area where one of Negrete's footprints was discovered. In this area, searchers also uncovered beef jerky and candy wrappers they believed to have belonged to Negrete. The most interesting discovery, though, was Negrete's camera. On the camera, there were 12 snapshots. All but one were landscape shots. However, the final image was a close-up self-portrait of Jared, showing only his nose and eyes. The photograph had been taken using flash photography, and Negrete appeared terrified in the image. Some have even claimed to see a pair of eyes behind Negrete, as if he was using the camera to scare off a threat. It is believed that Negrete lost his life by succumbing to the elements or by suffering a fall down the mountain. But over 30 years later, there are no traces of remains of the boy, and Negrete's final moments remain unanswered. Stuart Isaac disappearance. Stuart Isaac disappeared in Yellowstone National Park on September 24, 2010. Stuart Isaac was a 48-year-old family man, native of the Republic of Palau in the Pacific. On September 6, 2010, he set out to enjoy a cross-country trip to Yellowstone National Park. He drove approximately 32 hours from his Burtonsville, Maryland home and began his solo camping trip. The last contact he made with his family was a simple note that he left, informing them of his planned trip. Isaac spent several weeks away from home, and it was not until September 24th that he was determined to be missing. We know that, on September 26th, Isaac's black 2009 Lexus was parked at Craig Pass without a single hiking trail nearby. His car was found by the National Park Service during a routine patrol of the area. The car, which sported a vanity license plate reading Belloc, was unlocked with the keys inside it. Whether Isaac had been the one to park the car here, or if he was even in the vehicle at this time, is entirely unknown. Craig Pass, where the vehicle was located, is a rather odd place for any car to be parked. Standing at an awe-inspiring elevation of 8,262 feet, it serves as a mountain pass on the Continental Divide. Located roughly 8 miles east of the Old Faithful Geyser, it is rather far from any moderately trafficked route on the Yellowstone National Park's Grand Loop Road. This unusual finding is what prompted local authorities to determine that Isaac was indeed missing. Upon finding Isaac's vehicle, a large-scale search ensued immediately. Authorities determined that Isaac could have been lost for a total of 20 days when the car was finally located, considering that no spotting of him had been reported since September 6th. The National Park Service enlisted the surrounding sheriff's departments and the California Air National Guard to assist in the search. Together, along with rescue dogs, volunteers, and helicopters, they combed through the nearby areas to find any evidence of Isaac. Not a sign was found. The last reported contact by Isaac was to a former high school classmate, Matsu Evans. Records show that Evans spoke with Stuart for 2 hours on September 24th, almost immediately before his disappearance. This only added mystery and confusion to the investigation. The call was made at 6:30 p.m., according to her time zone in Guam, but this would have been roughly 3:30 a.m. in Isaac's time zone. Evans remarked that during their phone call, she felt something was off. When being interviewed by investigators, she said of the call, I was kind of surprised to hear from him because he seldom made calls. We text each other and we email. Now I know that he's missing. Why would he call me 2 days before something happened? However, during the call, he did not allude to being in any serious distress and simply informed her that he was on his way to Yellowstone for a relaxing cross-country trip. What made the encounter even more curious to Evans was that she never knew Isaac to be an outdoorsman of any sort. He did not seem to be experienced in hiking or even to be an occasional purveyor of nature trails. Due to the unique circumstances of Isaac's disappearance, many have speculated that he had planned to disappear on the trip. The mysterious final phone call to a loved one and a note left for his family aligns with the typical procedures for someone contemplating to end their life. Let's hope he is found one day. Sandra Johnson Hughes' disappearance. Sandra Johnson Hughes disappeared into the Sierra National Forest, located on the western slope of central Sierra Nevada in central California. She was last seen entering the Johnson Meadows on July 4, 2020. An extensive search ensued following her disappearance, but only more mystery was uncovered. Hughes was 54 years old when she moved from Hawaii to California a month before her disappearance. She began planning her camping trip as a way to enjoy nature and escape the confines of her home during everything that's currently happening. Before her trip, she was extensively trained in managing the wilderness as she trained to be a park ranger in college, making her disappearance all the more curious. Her family reported that they had last heard from her on June 26th. The search began on July 5th after Hughes's belongings were found in peculiar disarray. Her niece posted a call for help on Facebook encouraging others to help search for her aunt, stating that her campsite was found with her belongings and was quite disheveled. Things were thrown about all over, almost as if her car and belongings had been emptied out carelessly. Furthermore, her niece claimed that she would never leave her campsite a mess. Even a piece of litter on the ground would bother her. The Madera County Sheriff's Office then followed suit and openly asked the public to aid in the search for Sandra Hughes. Hughes was described as someone who liked to move around a lot. She had no children and was twice divorced, giving her the ability to uproot at a whim and live largely without restraint. There was a peculiar encounter on July 4th. It was reported that a group of hikers came in contact with Hughes. They claimed that she was walking barefoot, with a sizable bruise on her face. The hikers were rightfully concerned and offered her help, to which she declined. They insisted on providing some kind of medical assistance, but she again rejected their offer and continued on her path. Her family described her as someone who was very organized, making this behavior highly unusual and disturbing. On the 5th of July, there were more mysterious circumstances. Hughes's car was found lying in a creek that leads into Chiquito Lake. Authorities on the scene theorized that the vehicle was traveling at less than 20 miles per hour when it crashed into a tree and rolled into the ravine. This is extremely unusual for a crash. At such a low speed, it is hard to imagine why Hughes would have crashed headfirst into a tree. Typically, at this speed, the driver has great control over the vehicle. This finding led the search to intensify its efforts. Nearly a dozen separate sheriff's departments joined the effort, assisted by rescue dogs, volunteers, and helicopters from the California Air National Guard to locate Hughes. Together, they combed the forest, working day and night to find any sign of Sandra Hughes. None was found. The last sighting to reportedly see Sandra were two hunters passing through the woods near the Portuguese Overlook. The men claimed they saw her leaning against a tree along Road 5S01 near Besaw Road. At the time, they did not recognize her, and it was only upon returning from their trip that they recognized her from a missing person flyer. The hunters remarked that she did not appear distressed or in need of assistance. However, upon seeing her picture from the missing persons flyer, they said that she was visibly thinner. We can only hope she returns home safely. The unsolved disappearance of Bessie and Glenn Hyde. On November 18, 1928, Bessie and Glenn Hyde set out for their extended honeymoon where they planned to float down the rapids of the Colorado and Green Rivers for a few weeks. They said goodbye to Ellsworth and Emery Kolb, two brothers that were also spending time in the area. The couple departed on their boat to begin their exciting adventure, but they were never seen again. It has been nearly 100 years since the Hydes embarked on their honeymoon and mysteriously vanished. Colorado River guides still tell ghost stories about the couple's disappearance when sitting around campfires, because no one knows what happened to them. Although they were on an adventure honeymoon, it didn't take long for their family to notice that something was wrong, and then soon contacted the authorities. Glenn's father launched a search on December 6th. They were not even considered overdue at their final destination in Needles, California, but his father somehow knew that something was wrong. On December 19th, their flat-bottomed boat was abandoned and discovered floating in the river by a search plane. It was discovered about 3 weeks after their initial disappearance and was located around River Mile Marker 226. The boat was in perfect working order, with no signs of destruction or overturning. There were also no clues signaling what could have happened to the couple. Interestingly enough, the Hyde's gear and supplies were still found aboard the boat, securely strapped in and undisturbed. Authorities even found a camera on board with their last picture taken around River Mile 165 around November 27th. Search teams and investigators had trouble with this case because there were no signs of disturbance, technical difficulties, violence, or tracks leading away from the river. It was as if the couple simply vanished into thin air. Bessie did make a note in her journal, though, that they cleared River Mile 231, leading many to believe that they had at least made it past Mile 226, Diamond Creek, where they set up camp for a night. Additionally, Glenn was an experienced boatsman, having spent years operating and handling river rafts before their trip. He was considered an expert boat builder and managed their raft entirely on his own. He spent much of his life aboard rafts on the Snake and Salmon Rivers in Idaho. Although he was not a professional captain or entirely familiar with the surrounding area, he was not an amateur at risk of making simple yet fatal mistakes. The leading theory for their disappearance was that the journal was self-sabotage because the couple felt massive amounts of pressure from their friends and family. They intended to set a record for the speed and duration of their boat trip through the Grand Canyon. Plus, Bessie would become the first woman to boat the entire way through successfully. This pressure to do well and succeed could have caused them to either make mistakes or purposefully fail themselves. However, authorities found no evidence on the boat or surrounding areas to support and prove this theory. One historian believes that they were most likely swept overboard when their boat hit one of the many submerged rocks in the rapids that lie near Mile 232. The granite rocks often capsize and damage ships, causing many accidents every year. The Hyde's boat, however, shows no sign of distress or damage from stones. In 1971, an older woman was sitting with a group of rafters in the Grand Canyon and announced she was the long-lost Bessie Hyde, having escaped the canyon after taking the life of her abusive husband, Glenn. After authorities contacted her, though, she recanted the statement and denied ever having said it. Famed river rafter Georgie Clark was speculated to be Bessie after she passed away in 1992, and authorities found some documents like Bessie and Glenn's marriage certificate in her possession. There were even skeletal remains discovered in 1976 that people assumed were Glenn's. However, it was proven by the University of Arizona to be a different man. There have been strange stories and theories surrounding the couple ever since they first vanished in the late 1920s. Their story has inspired many writers and artists, spawning novels, a musical, and even an episode on Unsolved Mysteries. To this day, no one knows what happened to the Hydes, and we most likely never will. Craig Freer. In 2004, a high school student from New York went missing at just 17 years old. The young lad had been visiting a friend where he was consoled about a recent breakup. Whilst he had clearly been upset about him and his girlfriend, he reportedly did not give any indication that he may run away, nor did he say anything to suggest he would cause himself harm. This seemed a run-of-the-mill teenage breakup, at least until leaving his friend's house and walking into the woods. He never arrived back home. Adding to the distress in the boy's life, the day of his disappearance, his parents found out he lost his part-time job at the Price Chopper supermarket weeks prior. Craig had been pretending to show up and complete his shifts so that his parents would not find out he had been let off. His wallet and $40 in cash were found in his bedroom, just one of the reasons authorities do not believe Craig ran away or left of his own will. He had not applied for a job in the US, opened a bank account, or paid taxes since he was last seen, evident through the lack of activity surrounding his social security number. Craig lost his driver's license before his disappearance and did not get another before he went missing. Craig did not have a criminal record, any known behavioral issues or enemies. He was in fact a popular, bright student when in high school and had plans to study elementary education at college. However, before he went missing, some friends and family described him as acting secretive. Furthermore, Craig had run away once before, though only for a night, as an early teenager. 16 years on, and there continues to be a Facebook group searching for him, with friends and family actively looking for him. To this day, Craig Freer's case remains open, unsolved, and with no new leads. Barbara Newhall Follett disappearance. There are few missing persons cases more shocking than that of Barbara Newhall Follett. Follett was a famous child prodigy who had already published 2 books and written numerous poems by age 16. Her debut novel, The House Without Windows, had received acclaim from the New York Times after it was released in 1927 when she was only 12 years old. Many thought she had the ability to become one of the next great American writers. Then, in 1939, she vanished. Famous geniuses do not often disappear into thin air. However, it seems Barbara's life story was not as glamorous as was thought in the past. Weekend Edition's Paul Collins had been looking into the Follett mystery for some time and found some intriguing aspects of her life. As it turns out, after she published her first book, her life took a turn when her father announced that he was leaving her and her mother for his mistress, leaving them without the family's source of income. This turn of events occurred just as the Great Depression had started. So this New York Times reviewed author was then left to desperately look for work in Manhattan as a typist. Barbara struggled to get her subsequent manuscripts published, and she wondered if her success could continue without the help of her editor father. During this period of professional unhappiness, she turned to personal pursuits, and in 1931 she fell for an outdoorsman, Nickerson Rogers. After a few years, she began to suspect that he was cheating on her, and she became depressed, antisocial, and even stopped writing. Then, in December of 1939, after a fight with Nickerson, she walked out of their apartment and disappeared without a trace. To this day, no one knows what really happened to Barbara. Perhaps she had grown disappointed with betrayals by the men she loved and vanished on purpose, or perhaps someone took her. We may never know. Her story had not even been covered by the press until more than 20 years after her disappearance because her husband had listed her unrecognizable married name in a missing person bulletin. Despite the unknowns, this story is an American tragedy, and Barbara's disappearance prevented the rest of the world from witnessing how far her talent may have taken her.
In a remarkable find within the depths of the Baltic Sea, researchers have unveiled a colossal underwater structure believed to have originated more than 10,000 years ago. This discovery is in close proximity to the well-known Baltic Sea anomaly, sparking significant interest and curiosity among the scientific community and the public alike. The uncovered structure, shrouded in mystery and antiquity, offers a glimpse into a bygone era of human history, inviting exploration and analysis to decipher its strange origins and purpose. In Europe, this immense structure, thought to be among the most ancient hunting devices created by humans, was built by Stone Age hunter-gatherers. The construction of this megastructure signifies a significant milestone in human history. Researchers have uncovered a prehistoric wall beneath the waves along Germany's Baltic coast, suggesting it could potentially be the earliest megastructure constructed by humans in Europe. This archaeological finding holds significant implications for understanding ancient civilizations in the region. In the Bay of Mecklenburg, researchers unexpectedly discovered a massive underwater wall measuring almost a kilometer in length. The revelation occurred as scientists were utilizing a multi-beam sonar system aboard a research vessel during a student excursion around 10 kilometers, or 6 miles off the coast. This serendipitous finding has unveiled a remarkable geological formation that had eluded prior exploration. Upon detailed examination of the arrangement known as the Blinker Wall, it became evident that approximately 1,400 smaller stones were strategically placed to link close to 300 significant boulders, some of which were deemed too massive to have been shifted by human groups. This intricate structure showcases a deliberate effort to interconnect these stones and boulders, suggesting a high level of planning and coordination in its creation. The recently uncovered sunken wall, hailed as a remarkable find, lies beneath a depth of 21 meters of water. Despite its submerged state, researchers posit that this ancient structure was likely built by early hunter-gatherer communities over 10,000 years ago, possibly on the shores of a lake or near a marsh. The precise function of the wall remains elusive, yet researchers speculate that it functioned as a thoroughfare for hunters chasing after groups of reindeer. This structure, believed to be a driving lane, was likely utilized to maneuver and direct the movements of herds during hunting expeditions. In his statement at the Leibniz Institute for Baltic Sea Research in Warnemünde, a coastal town in Germany, Jacob Geersen mentioned that when animals are being pursued, they tend to adhere to certain structures and usually avoid attempting to leap over them. Geersen's observation sheds light on the behavior of animals when they are in flight mode, showcasing a tendency to follow established paths rather than engaging in risky behaviors. The concept involves the strategic implementation of an artificial bottleneck, using either a secondary barrier or the shoreline of the lake. This approach aims to control the flow or movement by restricting or diverting the path through engineered obstacles. In a report published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, researchers suggest the existence of another wall lying adjacent to the Blinker Wall that could potentially be submerged within the seafloor sediments. The wall could have potentially herded the animals towards the adjacent lake, hindering their speed and rendering them vulnerable targets for human predators strategically positioned in canoes equipped with spears or bows and arrows. This strategic bottleneck might have facilitated hunters in ambushing the animals as they tried to cross the water body, capitalizing on their reduced mobility due to the water obstacle. Geersen and his team have evaluated the 971-meter-long wall's dimensions and structure, leading them to doubt that natural occurrences were responsible for its formation. They dismiss the possibility of a massive tsunami relocating the stones or a glacier leaving them behind. This in-depth analysis suggests that the wall's characteristics and vast size are inconsistent with usual geological processes. The researchers question the likelihood of such extraordinary events shaping the wall, hinting at the presence of potentially unknown factors contributing to its creation. The orientation of the perimeter, typically below 1 meter in height, alters its course upon encountering the substantial rocks, indicating a deliberate arrangement of smaller stones to interconnect them. Overall, the stones comprising the structure are estimated to exceed a weight of 142 tons, underscoring the meticulous planning and effort invested in its construction. The strategic repositioning of the wall, along with the deliberate placement of smaller stones to facilitate cohesion with the larger boulders, unveils a sophisticated design that aims to merge elements seamlessly. The construction of the wall, assuming it served as an ancient hunting path, likely dates back to over 10,000 years ago, eventually being engulfed by the encroaching seawaters approximately 8,500 years back. In accordance with researchers, the Blinker Wall's positioning places it among the earliest instances of hunting architecture globally, potentially dubbing it as the most ancient human-crafted megastructure on the European continent. This discovery not only asserts its historical significance, but also indicates its potential relevance in the context of ancient human practices and societal structures. Geersen is currently enthusiastic about returning to the site, with the intention of reconstructing the ancient landscape in a meticulous manner. He is eager to delve into the depths of the area to unearth not only animal bones, but also valuable human artifacts like hunting projectiles that could potentially be hidden within the sediments surrounding the wall. Interestingly enough, this discovery caught people's attention due to it being found in the same region as the mysterious Baltic Sea anomaly. In the depths of the Baltic Sea lies a mysterious anomaly that has puzzled scientists and captured the imagination of the public since its discovery in 2011. Dubbed the Baltic Sea anomaly, this mysterious structure has been the subject of intense speculation and debate, with theories ranging from natural formations to extraterrestrial origins. Located in the northern Baltic Sea, off the coast of Sweden, the Baltic Sea anomaly was first discovered by a team of Swedish treasure hunters using sonar imaging technology. What they found was a large, disc-shaped object resting on the seafloor at a depth of approximately 90 meters or 300 feet. The object measures roughly 60 meters or 200 feet in diameter and exhibits unusual features, including a distinct circular outline and what appears to be a raised center. Initial reports of the discovery sparked widespread interest and speculation, with some observers suggesting that the anomaly could be evidence of an ancient shipwreck, while others proposed more exotic explanations, such as a crashed UFO or submerged ancient city. As news of the discovery spread, researchers and scientists from around the world became intrigued by the anomaly and sought to unravel its mysteries. In the years since its discovery, the Baltic Sea anomaly has been the subject of several expeditions and investigations aimed at determining its nature and origin. Researchers have utilized advanced sonar imaging, underwater robots, and diving expeditions to study the anomaly up close and gather more data about its composition and structure. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Baltic Sea anomaly is its unusual appearance and composition. While some researchers have proposed that it could be a natural geological formation, others have pointed to its distinct shape and features as evidence of artificial construction. The anomaly's circular shape and apparent symmetry have led some to speculate that it could be a man-made object of unknown origin, possibly dating back thousands of years. The expeditionary team made an astonishing discovery during their mission to locate an ancient shipwreck. While passing over the unknown object, they detected a captivating reading that immediately caught their attention. According to the findings of Ocean X, this strange anomaly exhibits an intriguing thickness, measuring approximately 3 to 4 meters, with a surprisingly extensive diameter of around 60 meters. Remarkably, the object rests upon a robust, pillar-like structure, soaring to an impressive height of about 8 meters. It lies submerged between depths of 85 to 90 meters, beneath an area characterized by extremely poor visibility, which poses a significant challenge for the team as they attempt to observe their surroundings. Interestingly, the team encountered a series of equipment malfunctions during their initial encounter with the anomaly. These malfunctions inexplicably ceased as soon as they moved past the mysterious object. At first, the team dismissed this as mere coincidence. However, when they retraced their steps and encountered the same equipment issues again, they began to entertain the notion that the object emits some kind of electromagnetic field. In order to test this hypothesis, the team conducted multiple experiments and, astonishingly, they consistently experienced equipment failure whenever they approached the anomaly. The team's fascinating findings have sparked a multitude of questions and speculations. Their exploration and analysis of the mysterious object, coupled with the data they have collected, have opened up new avenues of investigation in uncovering the true nature and significance of this captivating discovery. According to the account of experienced diver Stefan Hogeborn, he encountered a truly remarkable and unexplainable phenomenon during one of his dives. He noted that when he and his team came into close proximity to a certain object underwater, all their electronic devices, including a satellite phone, inexplicably ceased to function. This bizarre occurrence left them perplexed and intrigued. However, as they gradually distanced themselves from the object, approximately 200 meters away, their devices miraculously started working again, as if the interference had magically vanished. Astonishingly, once they returned above the mysterious object, their electronic devices once again malfunctioned, leaving them astounded at the inexplicable nature of this event. The photographs were sent to various universities for analysis, and their consensus was that the object in question was a result of natural formation. However, the divers who encountered the object strongly dispute this conclusion. They argue that natural formations lack the capability to deactivate electrical equipment or exhibit a distinct disc-like shape. These divers question the notion that the object could be simply attributed to the forces of nature alone. Perhaps the most tantalizing possibility is that the Baltic Sea anomaly could be of extraterrestrial origin, leading to speculation that it could be a crashed UFO or some other type of alien artifact. Proponents of this theory point to the anomaly's resemblance to other purported UFO crash sites, as well as its location in a remote and relatively unexplored area of the sea, as evidence of its potential extraterrestrial connection. Despite years of research and investigation, the true nature and origin of the Baltic Sea anomaly remain elusive. While some researchers continue to study the anomaly in the hopes of unraveling its mysteries, others remain skeptical of its significance and question whether it is anything more than a natural geological formation. For now, the Baltic Sea anomaly remains one of the most enduring mysteries of the deep sea, continuing to captivate the imagination of scientists, researchers, and enthusiasts alike. Whether it is a remnant of an ancient civilization, a natural geological formation, or something more otherworldly, the anomaly serves as a reminder of the vast and still largely unexplored depths of our planet's oceans, where countless mysteries await discovery. In the shadowy world of special operations, Navy SEALs are renowned for their elite training, unwavering courage, and ability to thrive in the most challenging and dangerous environments imaginable. Yet, beyond their legendary feats of valor and precision, there exists a realm of mystery and intrigue where tales of the unexplained and the extraordinary lurk in the shadows. In recent years, a growing number of Navy SEALs have come forward to share their accounts of mysterious encounters and inexplicable phenomena experienced during their illustrious careers. These stories, shrouded in secrecy and often shared only among trusted comrades, offer a tantalizing glimpse into a world beyond the ordinary, where the boundaries of reality blur and the unknown beckons. From encounters with mythical sea creatures in the depths of the ocean to inexplicable sightings in the remote corners of the globe, these Navy SEALs have witnessed firsthand the mysteries that lie beyond the reach of conventional explanation. Their stories captivate the imagination, inspiring wonder and curiosity, while challenging the limits of what we know and understand about the world around us. The Solomon Islands, nestled in the South Pacific, are known for their stunning natural beauty and rich cultural heritage. However, these idyllic islands are also home to tales of mysterious creatures and ancient legends that have intrigued locals and visitors alike for generations. Among these legends is the story of the Adaro, a mythical sea creature said to inhabit the waters surrounding the Solomon Islands. One particular tale of a Navy SEAL encountering an Adaro off the coast of the Solomon Islands has captured the imagination of believers and skeptics alike. According to the account that was posted to social media, a team of elite Navy SEALs was conducting a routine reconnaissance mission in the waters near the Solomon Islands when they encountered an unexpected and terrifying sight. As the team navigated their boat through the crystal-clear waters, they noticed a disturbance on the surface not far from their location. Intrigued, they steered closer to investigate, expecting to encounter nothing more than a school of fish or perhaps a playful pod of dolphins. However, as they drew nearer, the team was shocked to see a strange figure emerge from the depths below. Standing tall and imposing, the creature appeared to be a bizarre hybrid of man and fish, with scales covering its humanoid form and webbed appendages protruding from its limbs. Its eyes glowed with light as it fixated its gaze on the startled SEALs. Instinctively, the team reached for their weapons, prepared to defend themselves against this unknown threat. But before they could react, the Adaro vanished beneath the waves, leaving the SEALs shaken but unharmed. The encounter left a lasting impression on the Navy SEALs, who struggled to reconcile their training and expertise with the inexplicable sight they had witnessed. Some dismissed the encounter as a trick of the light or a figment of their imagination, while others were convinced that they had come face to face with a creature straight out of myth and legend. For believers, the encounter with the Adaro serves as further evidence of the mysteries that lie beneath the surface of the world's oceans. They point to similar accounts from cultures around the globe, all describing encounters with creatures that defy explanation and challenge our understanding of the natural world. Skeptics, on the other hand, argue that tales of mythical sea creatures are nothing more than folklore and superstition, perpetuated by imaginative storytellers and embellished over time. They suggest that the Navy SEALs may have encountered a rare or previously unknown species of marine life, rather than a mythical creature straight out of legend. Regardless of one's beliefs, the story of the Navy SEALs' encounter with the Adaro continues to spark debate and speculation among enthusiasts of the unknown. For some, it is a tantalising glimpse into a world of ancient mysteries and hidden truths waiting to be discovered. For others, it is simply another example of the power of human imagination to conjure fantastical tales from the depths of the unknown. For centuries, the indigenous peoples of the Solomon Islands have shared stories of sightings and interactions with mermaids. Known as Adaro in the local dialect, these merfolk are revered as guardians of the sea, possessing both the beauty of terrestrial creatures and the mystical powers of the ocean. According to ancient legends passed down through oral tradition, the Adaro are said to be beings of ethereal grace, with shimmering scales that glint in the sunlight and long, flowing hair that trails behind them like strands of liquid silver. The lore surrounding the Adaro is rich and varied, with stories recounting their benevolent deeds as protectors of marine life and harbingers of good fortune for those who honor the sanctity of the sea. Tales are told of fishermen who have been guided to bountiful fishing grounds by the gentle whispers of Adaro voices, and sailors who have been rescued from the brink of disaster by the timely intervention of these mysterious beings. Yet, alongside these tales of benevolence, there are also darker legends that speak of the Adaro's wrath and the perils of crossing their domain. According to local law, those who dare to disrespect the sanctity of the ocean or harm its inhabitants may incur the Adaro's vengeance, invoking curses and calamities upon themselves and their communities. In one chilling account, a group of fishermen who ventured too close to a sacred Adaro grotto were beset by a sudden and violent storm, their boat tossed about like a toy in the tempestuous waves. Miraculously, they survived the ordeal, but upon returning to shore, they found their village ravaged by floods and their crops decimated by plague, leading many to believe that they had incurred the wrath of the merfolk. Despite the skepticism of modern science, the tales of the Adaro endure as a testament to the enduring power of myth and the profound connection between humanity and the natural world. Whether viewed as purely folklore or as glimpses into a hidden realm beyond our comprehension, the stories of the Adaro continue to captivate the imagination and inspire wonder in all who hear them. In recent years, reports of sightings and encounters with the Adaro have continued to surface, fueling speculation and intrigue among locals and outsiders alike. Fishermen returning from their expeditions at sea have reported glimpses of shimmering figures darting beneath the waves, their graceful movements leaving trails of phosphorescent light in their wake. In one particularly compelling account, a group of divers exploring the coral reefs near Guadalcanal claimed to have encountered a pod of Adaro swimming gracefully among the vibrant marine life. According to their testimony, the merfolk appeared curious yet cautious, observing the divers from a distance before disappearing into the depths with a flick of their powerful tails. While skeptics may dismiss these accounts as mere fantasy or hallucination, many islanders remain steadfast in their belief in the existence of the Adaro, viewing them as integral to the rich tapestry of Solomon Islands' culture and heritage. Whether real or imagined, the mysteries of the Adaro continue to intrigue and inspire wonder, reminding us of the boundless depths of the ocean and the secrets that lie hidden beneath its shimmering surface. Mermaid sightings, though often dismissed as mere myth or fantasy by skeptics and scientists, persist across cultures and continents, weaving a tapestry of tales that hint at a deeper truth lurking beneath the surface of the seas. From the icy waters of the North Atlantic to the tropical reefs of the South Pacific, reports of encounters with mermaids continue to emerge, defying rational explanation and challenging our understanding of the natural world. One of the most compelling accounts of mermaid sightings comes from the coastal waters of the Faroe Islands, a remote archipelago nestled in the North Atlantic Ocean. Here, amidst the rugged cliffs and swirling mists, fishermen have reported sightings of mermaids known as selkies, believed to be shape-shifting creatures capable of transforming from seals into human form. According to local lore, selkies are said to emerge from the depths on moonlit nights, their haunting songs luring unsuspecting sailors to their watery graves. Tales are told of fishermen who have glimpsed these mysterious beings frolicking in the waves, their sleek forms gliding effortlessly through the frigid waters before vanishing into the depths once more. In the warm waters of the Caribbean, another legend of mermaid sightings holds sway, with reports of encounters dating back centuries. Known as sirenas in Spanish, these mermaids are said to inhabit the coral reefs and turquoise lagoons that dot the coastlines of the region, their enchanting songs drawing sailors and adventurers into their midst. In one famous account, recorded by Spanish explorers in the 16th century, sailors claimed to have encountered a group of sirenas off the coast of Cuba, their melodious voices beckoning the men to shore with promises of love and treasure. Yet, as the sailors drew closer, the sirenas vanished beneath the waves, leaving behind only echoes of their haunting song. While skeptics may attribute mermaid sightings to misidentification of marine animals or the tricks of the light, many who have encountered these elusive beings remain steadfast in their belief in their existence. Tales of mermaids have persisted across cultures and civilizations for millennia, suggesting a deep-seated human fascination with the mysteries of the sea. In recent years, advances in technology have only served to deepen the enigma surrounding mermaid sightings, with reports of encounters captured on camera and shared across social media. From grainy footage of shimmering figures seen darting beneath the waves to eyewitness accounts documented in blogs and forums, the evidence of mermaids' existence continues to mount, challenging skeptics and skeptics alike to reconsider their assumptions about the natural world. In the vast expanse of space, where the moon stands as a silent sentinel against the backdrop of the cosmos, lies a mystery that has captured the imagination of astronomers, believers in the unknown, and curious minds alike. It's a mystery that centers around a towering structure, a colossal edifice reaching an astonishing 3.5 miles into the lunar sky, as revealed in images captured by Google Moon. The discovery of this mysterious tower sparked a frenzy of speculation and debate within the scientific community and beyond. Proponents of the latter theory point to the tower's striking symmetry and unnaturally straight edges as evidence of artificial construction. They argue that such a feat of engineering would be beyond the capabilities of any known earthly civilization, prompting speculation about the involvement of otherworldly beings with technology far beyond our own. Others remain skeptical, citing the possibility of optical illusions or image artifacts distorting the true nature of the structure. They argue that without further exploration and analysis, it is premature to jump to conclusions about its origin or purpose. The photographs, sourced from Google Moon, depicted a towering edifice stretching an astonishing 3.5 miles into the lunar sky. Its imposing presence and striking symmetry immediately captured the attention of the online community, sparking widespread speculation and debate about its origin and purpose. For the individual who shared these remarkable images, the discovery was nothing short of a revelation, an opportunity to peer into the mysteries of our nearest celestial neighbor. With a few clicks of a mouse, they had unlocked a trove of hidden wonders, inviting others to join them on a journey of discovery across the lunar surface. As the images circulated across social media platforms, they ignited a firestorm of speculation among astronomers and armchair researchers alike. Some marveled at the sheer scale and precision of the structure, suggesting that it bore all the hallmarks of artificial construction, a testament to the ingenuity of an advanced extraterrestrial civilization. Others approached the discovery with skepticism, cautioning against jumping to conclusions without further analysis. They pointed to the possibility of optical illusions or image artifacts distorting the true nature of the structure, urging for a more measured approach to interpretation. Yet, amidst the debate and skepticism, one thing remained undeniable: the profound sense of wonder and awe inspired by the discovery. For the individual who shared the images, it was a moment of validation, a testament to the power of amateur exploration and the democratization of scientific inquiry in the digital age. In the days and weeks that followed, the photographs continued to captivate imaginations around the world, fueling speculation about the existence of other hidden wonders waiting to be uncovered on the moon and beyond. Whether the towering structure was a natural anomaly or a testament to extraterrestrial ingenuity, its discovery served as a poignant reminder of the boundless mysteries that await us in the depths of space. As humanity continues its journey of exploration and discovery, fueled by curiosity and propelled by technological innovation, the discovery of the 3.5-mile-high tower on the moon stands as a testament to the enduring spirit of discovery that unites us all. The recent discovery regarding the strange object on the moon's surface has garnered attention, with a researcher from NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter camera mission asserting that the anomalous feature is simply a crater situated inside another crater. The team from NASA has conveyed that the visible element in the images is simply a crater, with no indications of the presence of a tower. Upon careful examination, they have not identified any evidence supporting the existence of a tower in the said location. NASA further elucidated that the current scenario involves the emergence of a diminutive crater situated on the periphery subsequent to the formation of a larger crater. This progression indicates a sequential development in the crater formations within the specified area. Oddly enough, many people who saw these images said that this isn't the first time that strange anomalies have been detected on the moon. In the vast expanse of space, our celestial neighbor, the moon, has long captured the imagination of humanity. As the closest celestial body to Earth, it has been the subject of countless scientific missions and exploratory endeavors, including the iconic Apollo missions of the 1960s and 1970s. However, among the thousands of photographs captured during these missions, a number of mysterious anomalies have emerged, hinting at the presence of strange structures and phenomena that defy conventional explanation. One of the most intriguing anomalies discovered in old Apollo photos is the presence of anomalous structures resembling artificial constructs on the lunar surface. These structures, often characterized by their geometric shapes and symmetrical patterns, stand out starkly against the barren lunar landscape, raising questions about their origin and purpose. One such anomaly is the presence of rectilinear features, including apparent walls, bridges, and platforms that appear to stretch across the lunar terrain. These features, which exhibit sharp angles and precise alignments, bear a striking resemblance to man-made infrastructure, leading some researchers to speculate about their artificial origin. In addition to geometric structures, Apollo photos have also captured anomalies such as anomalous lights and shadows that appear to defy the known laws of physics. These anomalies, which manifest as bright flashes of light or unusual shadow patterns, have puzzled scientists and researchers for decades, leading to speculation about their possible causes. Another intriguing anomaly discovered in Apollo photos is the presence of anomalous objects or artifacts scattered across the lunar surface. These objects, which range in size from small metallic-looking spheres to larger unidentified structures, have been the subject of much speculation and debate among researchers. One of the most famous examples of such anomalies is the so-called tower or spire. This towering structure, which appears to rise from the lunar surface like a massive obelisk, has defied conventional explanation, leading to speculation about its possible artificial origin. In addition to physical anomalies, Apollo photos have also captured mysterious phenomena such as anomalous lights and shadows that appear to move across the lunar surface. These phenomena, which have been likened to lunar transient phenomena, defy conventional explanation and have led to speculation about their possible extraterrestrial origin. Despite decades of study and analysis, the true nature of these mysterious anomalies remains shrouded in mystery.